Alright, let's go find that pawn shop. Where the hell that was. Pawn shop, pawn shop. Is it the pawn shop? I think it is. Huh? 3 keys. How idiomatic. It's locked. What's this? It says Gerich, the Great Revival Industrial Armor. What does it do upstairs? Does the pawn shop work at this time of the night? Pawn shop, where's the pawn shop? Is this the pawn shop? No, bookshop. Broken window, tips has windows. You have a bag in your hand, perhaps you collect these bottles and sell them. Of course. Whoa, what have we here? A bridge? A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one. Kim, it looks like we've got a construction code violation. The lieutenant looks around. True, they never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revaho looks better though. But Lieutenant, think about the splinters. The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time after all. It's nothing to worry about. He adjusts his glasses. Shall we? Shall we what? It's kind of dark here. A lonely cormorant surveys the seas indifferent to your approach. That was a cormorant. I don't know what that is. The belly of this boat shines like it was recently painted. What's over here? Gotcha, little bitch.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her back. Huh. Logic error. She's not sleeping right now.
Pigs come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out?
If anything, you're afraid she'll take you out one day. Are you sleeping right now? Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever? She hisses. Yes, I think I'm clever. A garden hose until the snow melts. Balcony with a view of the yard and the hanging. Oh. A smoker up there. What smoker? I don't see anybody up there. Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. What's this? Just a closed doors where you look at it suspiciously. So where the hell is the pawn shop? I need to pawn some stuff. What's this? I'll take that. Some magnesium. This is sorry. This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. Why am I looking at this wall? Well, conceptualization's wall. I'm gonna fail. You have no clue. It's just a wall. So many walls all over Martinez. Weather worn, cracked. The paintings peeling. Okay. Inside the frame of a motorcycle and the tools used to assemble it. There's a girl out there.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue d'Esperance. You wait and see.
The girl stares at the sailboat by the pier.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth? Blood type? The last time I was tested for Hep C?
Heb? Yeah. When were you last tested?
Had a battery of tests just last week. I'm practically a patchwork of interesting critters, kinda like a man-o-war.
Despite the attitude, she puts the brush aside. She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge authority in other ways. A brush? An artist? The red splatter is urban expressionism. You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at? She nods disdainfully towards the woman performing maintenance on the bob dock next to the pier. Hatred? Disgust? It is difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring. She hisses. That ozone whore! Someone's gonna keep an eye on her. Ozone is an archipelago 2 days travel away from Ravenhall. Its moneyed residents used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques rarely have reason to visit matinees. Who is she? Probably the Wild Pines rep, who stopped her, nods in her direction. She's a professional negotiator though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative, while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions. You know, do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Do your thing. Already knows what my thing is. Throwing her off is our best bet. Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I like to watch her swim back to Ozone. What are you doing to the wall? Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. An aero graffito visible from low orbit. She studies the wall, suddenly pensive. I haven't really started yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Why are you so committed to defacing the building? This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know, summon the forces of crime and social chaos with a wall-side invitation. So you don't know what to write. Have you ever tried your hand at graffito? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff like "pigs go home" and "Mona was here." We rarely see pigs around here though, just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so... She wants it to be something true and total. I have an opinion on this. Wanna hear it? Yeah? I love public art. Don't mind us. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval. She means the opposite. You've lessened her desire to deface the building. Oh, reverse psychology. Do you know anything about the recent murder? She wrinkles her nose. Ain't no snitch, Pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts. Actually, there's a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner. We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fuck all. Okay, catch you later, Cindy. Watch your back, Ungulate. You got eyes on you. Huh. Gotta... Capside Apartments. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, roundabout north. Looks like there's more construction here. Once, decades ago. So, we're not gonna be sleeping tonight, huh? Partner. Docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A. Your room in the whirling isn't much bigger than this loop. It's worth more than you ever learned in your life. Oops, I missed that, whatever. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce.
She extends her hand in greeting.
Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
She steps closer and holds out her hand over the railing. Joyce L. What does the L stand for?
Leighton, my maiden name.
Her bony hands dangle from the sleeve of her oversized raincoat. RCM? What is that? A little foggy here.
I meant you. The Revachol Citizens Militia. The police.
Ah, it's Revachol. I've been spelling this wrong the whole time. What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
What is implied here? That you're drunk? She hasn't actually said it to every drunk in town. It was spoken in jest. I'm not a drunk. I'm a police officer.
Of course you're not. It was only a joke. I'm glad to see you here.
Her grip is tight and cold. She seems relieved. Like steel. There is strength here. If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview.
Of course.
I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
Basically, he's a weirdo, but he's a good detective. There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief even. This is a tactic. It happens quicker than a shooting star, but the lieutenant just winked at you.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful. You're on a boat. Why, yes I am. She looks at the deck under her feet. Green and white sails flutter overhead. Does she have a name? A boat? No. It is called Interrogate 19 because that's the type of sloop it is. The word it feels strange. Such a beautiful boat deserves a proper name. Breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that, a resounding darkness. You're reminded of something, or someone. Cool, but your boat really needs a name. Okay, how about Interrogate 19? Why? She taps the side of the boat and makes a howl sound. Because it was manufactured in Revachol, used by a company called Interrogate, and its hull is 19 paces long. She makes a point of being unromantic about it. How about Dolores? Why Dolores? Because it stings in an ancient and beautiful name. I don't know, feels pretty. Well, it means nothing to me. I think I stick with the factory name, but thank you for the suggestion. Okay, but what kind of boat it is? Is it? Sorry, it is small. It's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing, though these days I mainly use it for business. How do you like it? My sloop? I like it a lot. Her lips curl into a wry smile. It is the EOS hips, baby! I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating. I really do. The lieutenant thinks. I really do. The lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her. Not a lot of people on boats, are there? Of course there are. She looks around. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? There's a pinch of defensiveness in her voice, but it is playful. Wait, we're on archipelago? Yes, we are, she raises her brow. We're on Lake Calio. Technically, the neighboring Eurozone and Face la Mer island groups are archipelagos, while Lake Callao, by contrast, is a single fertile landmass, the fourth largest island in the world. It is not an archipelago. Wait, I thought Lake Callao was one big island. Okay, she gives you a crooked smile. If you want to get technical, the point is we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another, especially when you're in a hurry to resolve a strike. Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Skidmore motor carriage either. Actually, the lieutenant becomes defensive. That motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the Great Revancho Industry Harbor. It's not a toy. Damn. Neither is this. The woman pats the cabin hardtop. A toy, I mean. It is a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Ravenhall, between the city and the islands. You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. Yes, I do. You have the guns and the ammo. Take this class and feet down. Let's talk about the economics of this boat you're on. Oh my, the E word. She crosses her arms. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class? Wait a minute. Precus Mundo! Class war time, baby! Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator? He doesn't look like he thinks you'll best her in single combat. Then what does that say? She points at the plaque on the side of the pier. Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A? 33A, this old proletarian hound here. She waves at the ruins looming overhead. As I said, plenty of people drive boats of a social strata. Ha! Your synapses flash. Funny, I don't see any other EOS heels around. You mean EOS hips? But point taken. I'm a bourgeois woman, and this is my fast, light, interminably bourgeois boat. There is no shame in her voice. A touch of sadness, yes, but no shame. Do you have a license for this boat? Officer, I assure you, I am a highly qualified pleasure craft operator. The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license? Can I see your license? I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officer. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one but 2 Icelandic regatas, even finished ones. What happened the other time? The other time I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter, much like the one I'm on now. Still need to see a license, ma'am. Actually, you don't. I'm pretty sure I do. I police. It is a known fact among these who police that the Wayfarers Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operative license. The Wayfarers Act is one of the few pieces of legislation governing human interaction in the Ravenhall Special Administrative Region, along with the Emergency Trade in Ailments Acts. The what now? It's one of the foundational laws in Ravenhall designed to limit the authority of local institutions. Part of it prohibits the RCM from requesting most documents and licenses without permission from a coalition representative. It's a law that keeps Ravenhall what it is, in limbo. Wait, how exactly... Wait, hang on. So we can't pull over random civilians and demand their papers? That's weak. Unless it's their passport, no. Do you want to ask for the lady's passport? You need to save face with her respect. Demand that passport, okay. Yes, I'm going to need to see your passport. Of course. She searches the pocket of her raincoat, producing a bundle of documents in a sealed plastic bag. The woman is silent, smiling, while the waves slap against the hull. In your hand, under the plastic, a light blue passport saying Republic of Vesper, The coat of arms has a lion and an ostrich, Sejant. The Republic of Vesper, formerly the Republic of Vesper Messina, was once a dual kingdom, and an amicable parting of ways produced two constitutional monarchies. Vesper, the richer of two, is an occidental nation known for its proximity to the Pale and its exotic financial derivatives. Anything else? It is a stable country, and yet there has always been something ominous about its perfect stability. Its place at the edge of the Mundi Isola, overlooking the Ubisunt Isle, fracturing into the great unrest of the Pale. The woman, born in the year 3 in the commune of Ravenhold, smiles at you, face adorned with frown lines and crow's feet. The photo is recent. The name reads Rejoice Later Messier. Your name is Rejoice? Yes, but please don't call me that. Why? Joyce is much more efficient. She doesn't like it. Probably a bad memory. Mean girl at school or some ancient lover. You're from the Republic of Vesper? My husband is. I have dual citizenship. Vespertine is handier when traveling. Everything appears to be in order. She nods and returns the plastic bag to her coat. I think I have a handle on the boat thing. Good. She takes a sip of her thermal cup. Tell me about Wild Pines. What do you do? What we do, I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole, is a giant undertaking. There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent. So what do they do? The Pines' core competency is logistics, container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. She points to the small dots on the horizon. See those airships? There, blinking? Those are the shipping sides of things. Then to the east towards the harbor, and that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil, and gas exploration, offshore platforms. The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Ravenholian Indo-tribes companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. What the hell is a suzerain? The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain. She enjoys talking about the company. It will not hurt to inquire more. Who are the other Indo-tribes? Saint Baptiste Lyon, and I know entity known as Brightest Star. You're in good company, it seems. Why, thank you. She does not register the real meaning of the remark. How much money does Wild Pines have? I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheets, but I can tell you that last year the company looked more than 20 billion real in revenue. The money I owe is so much less than that. Yes, past a certain point numbers begin to seem imaginary, but they are quite real for the 72,000 employees who depends on Wild Pines for their paycheck. A conglomerate the size of Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving and growing, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It is a tremendous responsibility. Where does Wild Pines get all these billions? They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when Pine's ship explored the South Semenese and charted Lo Manhattan on behalf of the suzerain. Jesus, these words. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessel passed through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricot in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build. It probably helps to start out with a royal monopoly. You know more than you let on. She takes a sip and looks you over afresh. Certainly it helped, but most of the original Indo-tribes have failed or have been absorbed. To survive, Wild Pines had to grow and adapt. No suzerain did that. What does such a huge system want with a place like this? You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners? She gives you a little smile. Who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? You don't keep it moving, the workers do. The company is nothing without them. We built this district, she says calmly. We. There it is. She owns up to it. All the best part of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions, the plazas, Meteoron, Mosaic, even some of the old street lamps have been put back thanks to investments from the Whippy. She points behind you where the sea wall rises. Seawall. I said seawall. Yes. Before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial arbor, even before it was part of the Ravenhall, long before Terminal B was erected here, the Pines built it as a resort for its Ravenhollian employees. A company getaway for a weekend or a summer holiday. They came the revolution, but that's another matter. She takes a sip. I'm here to make sure the Pines can fulfill their responsibility to the place they built. With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone. What can you tell me about this strike? Everything, she smiles, right up to, but not including, trade secrets. Wait, what if I want to hear about trade secrets? First, you have to repeal the Emergency Act of Trade and Elements that gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. The octopus that shadows Ravenhall. The Emergency Act is the cornerstone of post-war Ravenhall, inseparable from the world it created. An octopus. I will slay it. Good luck. It's only kept in place by the vested interest of half the civilized world, including your own. What the man means is that the Emergency Act in the RCM both got the authority from the coalition government. You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words. Did someone say shooting yourself in the foot? You would be surprised at the amount of damage I can inflict myself. I imagine a man like you can take quite the lashing. She sizes you up, but I believe we're talking about the strike. What is your role in this, precisely? I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines in return with Wild Pines' counteroffer. No way. She's more. She can make decisions. And how are the talks going? They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago after that awful lynching took place. Wait. She just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected. Now they won't even let me in the arbor. There's two 20 meters races behind blocking the gate. Tell us more about this behemoth. What can I say? The Union employs a giant covered in tattoos. She pauses. A racist giant. Yes, that's part of their big tent organization. So the strike is connected to the lynching? Her eyes narrow. Yes, I believe there is a connection, but that's a subject for later. She's resolute in this, yet you sense that she wants to tell you. You have to earn her trust first. How were the talks going before the lynching? Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived. When did you first arrive? I arrived 3 weeks ago, she thinks. Yes, in the middle of February. The day was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM. He looks at his notes. But the strike began in December. I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took after Mr. Gaumont hit the wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont, despite the concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations. This is the first time the union has gone on strike. Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time, their demands are more, I guess could say, aggressive. Ludicrous, even it's meant. What the fuck does that mean? What happened to this Gaumont? Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? She pauses to compose herself. Fuck off, midget. Come on, this shirt on statue, you see. Cool. Yes, extremely. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before and was more than fair with him and the union. Sounds like usual aggressive posturing. What are their demands? There are leaflets everywhere and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker a member of the board. Most of the workers probably don't know what that means. Overly aggressive commie posturing. Okay. Overly aggressive commie posturing. In his defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker a member of the board. Most of them probably don't know what that means. Fortunately, they explain it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs to be signatures of each of the 2,200 workers in the Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines, essentially. Not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pine Group. An opening gambit, surely. That's pretty funny, I have to admit. They're having a blast, but how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption was they would prefer a more practical solution. Sounds like an opening gambit. So I hoped, she nods. But this type of opening is usually followed by a more reasonable offer. I have yet to hear one, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear, behind the watering in rags, a disastrous situation if there ever was one. Excuse me, the lieutenant looks up from his notes. From whom did you hear about this lynching? Her reply comes quick. I first heard it from the boy at the gates, the one whose very name advertises aversion to work. I think he said it was call me Manana. This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates? Surely the Wild Pine Group has more effective channels of information. After all, 2,200 people are on strike. This is a big deal for them. The scabs at the gate. Did you put them there? The scabs? She raises her brow. You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock comes to plead for work where the union refused to? Don't let her answer it herself. Let's call them strike breakers. You put them there, right? If these strike breakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least. It's implied she is open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion. Tell me about this union boss, Mr. Clare. Everett Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, is that he always puts the interest of the workers first. She's been sarcastic. Don't take her performance literally. That's not what you really think, right? Of course not. Everett is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, vicious ghoul where you and I have blood. If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier. You sound like you're about to take a rapier to him. Oh, heavens no. We get along just fine. You know that you know... Sorry about that. Yet now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black trickle just dribbling down his double chin. She stops to smile. Is he that bad? He's the most corrupt individual I have ever seen. I deal with men like him for a living. If there's anyone more venal, more irredeemable, nepotistic than his twin brother Edgar. Wait, there are two of him? Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everett does. When one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. That's how they circumstance the term limit, you see, with funny little switcheroo. While in office, they have Benzo God knows how much of their workers do. Why does this sound like Russia? What about the union itself, outside the Brothers Clare? The Diburdure Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. She adjusts her hair. She adjusts her hair. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter's election. The Brothers Clare came and transformed it into a, how do you say? She hesitates, looking for the right expression. A mob, the lieutenant says succinctly. The Diburdures are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we're forced to cooperate with them. Refreshingly honest, officer, she nods. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everett and his brother. She turns to you. In your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see, she explains. Would you say that the Diburdure Union is a giant leech sucking the life out of Ravenholm? Indeed, and a hungry one, she nods. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers. One more thing. You said something happened in the elections? I'm glad you asked. There was a woman. the previous foreman of the union. She disappeared. Disappeared? Yes, on the last day of the local chapter's election, her daughter phoned and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work, ever. End of story. This forewoman, her name? This forewoman, her name? Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence. Holy. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name, and I don't have access to the union's files. Eerie. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pants suspect foul play, but what could they do? It wasn't a union matter. The point of the presentation is these kind of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with them. With him. Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine. That's all I needed here. Let's change the topic. Of course. What can you tell me about this lynching? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. She fell silent for a moment, contemplating something. Worry lines creased her forehead, but it's more than worry in her eyes. A hint of, is that guilt? The information I'm about to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers. Of course, ma'am. We shall have introduced herself. The lieutenant hands her a piece of blue plastic. I'm Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. He points to you, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice. How curious. She returns the lieutenant's badge and turns to you. Why is that, detective? Awkwardness watches over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events. It was stolen by some artists, surely. Best to pin the blame on them. Everyone knows you can't trust artists. Why should I blame it on artists? Everyone knows you can't trust artists. They are nearly as bad as clowns. Some damn clown stole it from me. It's a long story. You mean someone stole your badge? Her brow is slightly arched. I'd rather not get into it, but yes, a bunch of clowns and some arlequinos stole my badge. Some arlequinos, you say? She shakes her head. I'm afraid what I need to tell you is anything but fun. I really need to discuss it, however, with the RCM, and I need your badge for that. Unbelievable, sire. Even arlequinos didn't work. Remember when my partner told you that recently suffered from an unusual medical episode? My lost badge is related to it. I see. She looks increasingly worried. So are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? It's possible. After a night of heavy drinking, I lost all memory of my life and the world. Oh dear, she sighs with compassion, sadness even. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation. She must have been suspecting something for a while now. As I said, ma'am, the lieutenant interjects. His technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM. Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge. Hang on, she's a professional negotiator. Should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. What kind of arrangement would it be? I mean, favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort. Oh my god. Consider this. Perhaps she has been planning it all along, that you convince yourself into colluding with her. Perhaps she even knew beforehand of your affliction. A sudden pinch of paranoia comes over you. How do I negotiate my way out of this? Easy. Just offer her a favor, like I said. Nice and dirty. Surely there's some other way to demonstrate our law enforcement credentials. I'll be frank with you. She puts down her thermal cup. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible. You're in, but I expect her to drive a hard bargain. Like what? Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason. She wants you to help her gain leverage to restart negotiation with the Union. The company has tried looking into matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stones. Or she picks the cup back up, you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause. Detective, the lieutenant closed his notebook. A word in private before we continue. Excuse us for a moment, madam. Shadow, blah blah blah.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
The lieutenant's voice is hushed. How did you hope it would go? Honestly, I was expecting to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance and, not volunteer to be her henchman. Oh, so we are henchmen now? This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, you've played straight into her hands. He doesn't let it show, but there's a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation. Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you. What do you propose? That we don't investigate the drug trafficking? No. If there's reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union, or that we're on their take. We'll never hear the end of it. What I propose is we ask her, then we investigate. Briefly, he adjusts his glasses, but do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for information on the lynching. You could just, find my badge? Oh, totally. That would be fantastic. But do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence. You could request a new one from your station, but that would really take months. Her proposal was likely part of her design. This so is. Yes. Knowing this does not really change our position, however. The company must have more years on the ground. She could have known about my condition. I wouldn't go that far. Reaction did come off as sincere to me, I think. She's just quick to adapt. She's professional after all. I'm sorry for putting us in this situation. I'll handle it. I'm sure you will, Detective. Let's get back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with at this late hour?
It's night. Don't you ever sleep? Well, in fact, I don't. She takes an arm. Why is that? I have a medical condition of my own. Nothing unusual, though. I'm old, you see. Old, huh? I think I have that too. Don't worry, it's curable. Questions, ask him so. It'll help pass the night. You know something about these tattoos? That's the man who was killed. She almost takes the photos, but then stops. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. So you know something about the tattoos. Better not to tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there's something else I can help you with. She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it. You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in. This reality? She pulls her hood closer on her neck. Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case. The aim is to gain a deeper understanding. By learning about the world, I hope to learn more about myself. A sort of spiritual quest? Something of ancient Ilmaran origin? There's more than a trace of irony in her voice. Yes, a spirit quest sounds like the thing I'm on. You'll find him a big fan of the ancient ways. It's part of his condition. Nothing wrong with ancient ways, she says. Modern ones aren't necessarily better. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can. Alright, we're in. I know these all look good. We'll begin with the first, okay? Where are we? We're in Martinez, baby. Baby? A casual term of endearment popular among the 50s plus crowd. It's a disco holder. Pay it no heed. I'm a disco holder myself. Ha! She smiles. Aren't we all? She refers to your corresponding ages. And what is Martinez? Martinez is a district of Ravenhall. She looks around, her green braidcoat flapping in the wind. A very small district tucked away near the industrial arbor, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution, she shrugs. It has its charms, just not this time of year. Tell me more about Martinez. I'm not as good ambassador. I've only been here once before as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. She closed her eyes. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, warriors with boxy shoulders. A brief spike of longing in her upright body. The dots under her eyelids shake. She opens them. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it, and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the real star of the show here. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. You were here as a teenager? Yes, I was, slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... She smiles. Don't hold it against me. Your boys certainly did not. There is a spark in the air, a life wire hanging in the wind. In your hungover neocortex, then the seer cools it down. You mentioned a sea. What sea is this? It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Ravenhall, and the bay feeds into the ocean. Are we near the ocean? Yes, we are on an island in the ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic, known to the early Ravenhollians as Les Immensités Bleu, the blue immensities. Okay. Why is it French? Vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight. That's the name of this island. Calway, as you already know, she looks at the water. Imagine a pebble, a smooth over pebble amidst the great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary. It's clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large. Okay, that's Martinez. What's Ravenhall? Ravenhall is what you call a city. What kind of city is Ravenhall? A great kind. As if it's self-explanatory beyond patriotism. A fact. What makes Ravenhall great? History, detective. Did they build this city to resolve history? Our part in it, at least our century. Okay, who built this city? The nation of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ilmara, depending on your creed. When was Ravenhall built? In the Dorian century, 380 years ago. And why will it resolve history? They say it is where the terrible question of our time will be answered. The tension are highest, the flat line deepest. By that I mean conflict, ideological conflicts, the stuff of man. Why here? We're standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean. The world's connective tissue, she smiles, it's where the money is. So we're pretty much at the center of the world. Oh, we're quite way off. About, she points across the water where the skyscraper rises. A sparkle of lights on the nighttime horizon reflected in the dark sea. 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world's building. The bottom floors are Insurcom, coalition government, Insulidian mission command. Look to the sea. Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light, is as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it. Where are we? We are where we are. I have no true answer to give you, unfortunately. She watches you closely as you can scan the horizon. This one, though, thought you need to complete. Where are you? Was there something else you want to know? I remember something about a lowdown. This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask. He turns to you. About even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Ma'am, Monsieur will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am? Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term. But won't I be lazy if I don't do it at all now? Of course not, he shakes his head. You're already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off. Indeed, I'm always at your service. What times are these? These are unimportant times, detective. She puts her finger to her lips, then points at you. You and I were born after the dust had settled 1,000th of a second too late. Too late for what? For the big time. Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind. You've got a predatory streak. All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth. What's the big time? The revolution, she says. Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about? It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Who got shot in the head? Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. She's not gloating. It's a relief celebration. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed. She likes the totality of it. Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back? Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Truly a kerfuffle. It was a kerfuffle, alright, the lieutenant mumbles from behind his notes. Yes, the Insulidian deluge, they call it. I had a deluge too, in my head. Yes, an acute thiamine deficient can be exasperated by alcoholism. She blinks her green eyes. Exasperated means made worse. Anyone else got shot in the head? On the opposing side? Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head. Or thrown beneath a horse. Or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. She shakes her head. Just as well. It wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grat. I love that king. Fucking communist. Which one? Actually, it doesn't matter. King Guillaume has always been my favorite. He could smell Pierre disasters brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Frizzle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time. Who got the mineral rights? The liberals got the mineral rights. She looks up to the sky, then inland at the crumbling city, and by mineral rights I mean everything. Okay, and by liberals you mean... Liberals are usually middle-class people, detective, who the remaining gentry, the beneficiary of the pre-revolution arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the constitution with monarchies. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals, that fared well. How did the liberals win at all? They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember? She's one of them, of course. If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to? To foreign intervention, the coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. She stomps her rubber-footed foot. The ocean, the laws, the people. Who are the coalition? The coalition of nations. Grat, Mescu, Vesper, Messina, Orange, and Sur-la-Clave. The Arab center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do. There's bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She's critical, but ultimately understands the cause. Moralist? The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the other do. They are the long-standing provisional ruler of Ravenholm now, the coalition government. The ruler of Ravenholm and also the world. These guys are strong. This is their special administrative region. They embolden their RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist. The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of the Moral Lantern or Moralist International is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of the grey sky. Unofficial, for a moment, there was hope. not just technically, practically. For a moment, there was hope. Devout men of the center, she nods, are to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work. I mean, when was this kerfuffle? The turn of the century revolution? She smiled mischievously. Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in 02 on the Great Ice Solar, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved. Who started it? It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Tsarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government. What did the Tsarat do? It made people overthrow the government. Wow, really? Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual cause of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark. It was a funny time in history. They discarded transistors and rock music, but didn't know anything about prions. Nobody did. Where did it spread from there? From Ravenhall and Grath? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in 08, and the coalition crushed the Ravenhall commune 2 years later. It was the end. What came next? Why, you and I, officer. She spreads her arms, raincoat flapping in the wind. Our lives in the special administrative region. Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants? Our lives are very different from each other. No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think. What is the special administrative region? A city-state divided into free market zone, under the everlasting interregnum of the coalition of nations, and you, of course, the citizens' militia. The clatter of typewriter keys filled the main house of a reappropriated silk mill, precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage. The Special Administrative Region is the third incarnation Ravenhall, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune. What happened in the rest of the world? Modernity. They developed the marvels of inter-insular communication, telematic menus, radiation cord plastics. Meanwhile, in Ravenhall West, the aftermath continued for the 5th decade. 51 minus 8 equals 43. Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years? Time flies. What have we been doing all this time? The 20th saw a decade of urban war. West of the rivers leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply hell. And after that? The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Ravenhall East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. Then you happened. Your youth in the 30s. Youth. How that untaxed income must have fueled the new. That can only mean one thing. That's when they discovered disco. Yes. In the quantitative easing, it was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An isolar white hangover, you might say. So, here we are, she curtsies. Welcome to reality, baby. From the looks of it, the 50s hasn't been much better for the special administrative region. You can see it in her eyes, days slipping away. You don't seem to be thrilled. I have no right to be dissatisfied.